Alright, so in the previous video, we set up the authentication. So in this video, we're going to actually set up the authentication logic. So let's get straight into the code. So in the routes folder, let's create a new file called +layout.svelte. And in here, we're going to include a script tag. And we're going to import $lib. So from the lib folder, we're going to import main.css. So now let's create a slot. And that's it. Let's close this file. So let's delete the +page.svelte file. And let's also create a new folder inside the routes folder called auth, but inside of parentheses. Inside of here, we're going to create a new file called +layout.server.ts. So then we're going to export const load is equal to an asynchronous function that takes in the locales, so locals. And basically, we're going to check that the user is actually validated and that we are not actually accessing the wrong data that we are not supposed to. So now, if we want to get autocomplete for this load function, we're going to have to run npm run dev inside the terminal and keep it running for the duration of this tutorial. So let's close the terminal. And then if it is valid, so if the user is actually logged in, we're just going to redirect to /. And if not, we're just going to return an empty object, and this function satisfies layout server load. Let's make sure to wrap this in parentheses. Layout server load. And let's close this file. And then let's create a new file inside the auth folder called +layout.svelte. We're going to include a script tag. We're going to import page from $app/stores. So then let's create the markdown. We're going to create a section that contains a main that contains a section. We're going to do a key block. So at key and /key. And inside of this key block, so every time the page store, the URL path name changes, we're going to update and rerun this code. So we're going to create a container div that contains our slot. So then let's create the styles. So now let's apply some styles to the section. And inside the container class, then we're going to do a media call. So a media query that states if the minimum width is greater than 700 pixels, we're going to apply these styles. So in the section class, so let's close this file. And then in the auth folder, let's create a new folder called sign up. And inside of this folder, let's create a new file called +page.server.ts. So now let's export the actions. So let's create a default action. So const actions is equal to an object that's going to contain one item, which is going to be the default function. So request and locals. And now we're going to say if the user is logged in, .authStore.is valid. So if the user is logged in, we're just going to return. We're not going to actually run any of the logic. So we're going to get the form data. So await request form data. We're going to see the name is form data get name. We're going to see the email is equal to form data get email. And we're going to say the password is equal to form data get password. Now let's create a try catch block. And now let's validate to make sure that these properties are actually set to the right types. So we're going to say so once you're done validating, we're gonna get we're gonna access the users collection. So we're gonna get a reference to it, saying users collection is equal to locales dot pocketbase dot collection users. I'm gonna say const result is equal to await users collection dot get first item. I'm gonna say name is equal to name. So we're gonna check if this is actually coming from PocketBase. If error dot status undefined, and if not, we're just gonna throw the error. So basically what this does is it checks the user's collection to make sure that there is no other user with the same name as the user we're trying to create. So I'm gonna say if the result is undefined, or no, if we've actually found a user with the same name, we're gonna say throw new error. Name is already taken. Right here, let's fix this error. Let's have the end quote right here. So now let's await the user's collection dot create, and let's just set the email, password, name, password confirm is going to be the password, and then we're going to set the email visibility is equal to true. And now we're just going to await locales dot pocketbase dot collection users dot auth with password. We're just gonna say that we're just gonna pass in the email and the password. So basically we create the user and then we sign into their account. So now if we throw an error, we're just gonna say if the error is an instance of error, we're gonna return name, email, and password. So basically we'll return the cached values of the name, email, and password that we passed in. I'm gonna say error is equal to unknown. Error occurred when signing up user. So now by default, if it wasn't an instance of error, we're just gonna say the error was error dot message. Or actually, if the error is actually an instance of error, we're gonna set it to the error dot message, and we're gonna say name, email, and password. And by default, we're just gonna redirect back to the home page. Let's import redirect. So then let's close this file, and in the sign up folder, let's create a new file called pluspage.svelte. And first of all, let's create a script with the lang set to TS, so TypeScript. We're gonna import, or we're actually gonna export let form is equal to action data. So let's import the action data type. Let's let it load for a second, but we're gonna set a section with a class of content container with a div of headers, and that has an h1 that has the text of sign up, and a paragraph that has the class of subtitle. Class subtitle, and then this is gonna say create your account and start messaging your friends now, exclamation point. So make sure to import action data. And by the way, if you don't get these autocomplete for Svelte kit, just go over to your terminal and run npm run dev in the terminal to make sure you get the autocomplete for the auto-generated types. So now, let's create a form with the method of post. And by default, we don't need to specify an action because we're going to automatically map to the default action. So let's just do div with a class of inputs with 3 inputs. One input is a name input. We're going to set the name due to name. And let's copy this down a few more times. And the placeholder is name. Let's delete these for now. We're going to set the default value to form.name. And if the form.name does not exist, we're just going to set it to an empty string. So let's copy this down a few more times. And we're going to have one input for the name, one input for the email. So there's going to be an email type. And the placeholder is going to be email. And the value is going to be email. Password. Password. We're also going to set the password for the default type. And now if there's an error, we set it below the input. So we're going to do an if block if form dot error. We're going to set p dot error to form dot error. So now we're going to set a button with a type of submit, button submit, and it's just going to say sign up. And below this, let's create a section with a class of link container. And we're going to set a paragraph that says already have an account. So if they already have an account, we want to link them to the login page. So we're going to set an anchor tag to slash login page. Login. So now let's open up Svelte. Wait, so let's go to PocketBase. No, actually, it's because the PocketBase is not running. So let's open a PocketBase, cd PocketBase, and let's go /PocketBase serve. And as you can see, if we restart the server, it works. Although it has the default ugly styles with the font that we actually imported, you can see that the inputs are bland, the button is not how we want it to be, and the link is just a normal link. So now, instead of writing all the styles, which can get very tedious, all I'm going to do is open up the GitHub. By the way, the GitHub is in the link in the description. So open it up. Let's go to the source folder. Let's go to routes, auth, sign up, page.svelte. Let's copy these styles. Let's paste them in. And you can see that we have a header, some padding, some paragraph text, some nice looking inputs, and a link that actually looks nice. So you can see that if we create a random name, for example, an account that says with the name of test, with the test at email.com, we're going to do test. But let's just test out an invalid password. So you see, password must be at least 8 characters in length. So if we sign up, you see that we get redirected to the slash page. So now let's actually log out. If you want to manually log out without an actual log out button, you can go to the application tab or the source tab or the storage tab in Safari. And you could go over and see the cookies in localhost, and you see the pb_auth cookie. Just delete that. And you could close this again, and you can see it redirected And if we go to sign up page, you can see that we're not redirected anymore. And if we even open up the PocketBase admin UI, you can see that we created a user. Actually, let's remove this user because I user. So now we can literally copy and paste the sign up logic into the login logic that we're going to create right now. So create a login folder inside the auth folder and create a file called plus page.server.ts. And we can literally copy this and go into login and paste that in. And instead of passing in the name, we remove the name. Let's delete this line. So let's also delete the validation for the name. And let's delete this. And we could even remove the logic to check if there are any other people that have our same name. So you can see that the login is much more linear than the sign up because all we're doing is just validating the input and logging in. So let's actually create the UI for the login page. So let's go plus page.svelte. And all we could do is copy this, copy, and paste. And let's just edit a few of the styles. I mean, a few of the things. Oh, wait, we remove this. And instead of sign up, we say log in. And we link this to sign up page. And it's going to be sign up. And we say don't have an account. And for the title, let's have a login. And then we can say log into your account and start messaging your friends now. So now if we open this up and we go to login page, you see how we can go back and forth between the login and password. So let's say the name is test@email.com, test. So if we sign up, we get redirected. Let's go to storage. Let's remove the cookie. Refresh. And let's go to /sign up. And let's go log in. Test@email.com. Oh, you see, it works now. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video has served you value. I hope you're looking forward to my future videos. If you have any comments, go drop them down in the comment section down below. I hope this video served you some value. Like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.